So here's a question for you. What does building medieval architecture have to do with creating high-performing teams? No idea? All right, well, we'll get back to that question later. Today we will be discussing my learnings from Peter F. Drucker. To be successful in business, we need to do what others do and do it at least as well as they do. We call it keeping up with the pack or staying afloat. If we want to get ahead, we do what they do, but we do it better. We call that leading the pack. If we want to make a more significant impact, then we need to ask ourselves one question. This question should force us to look up and outward instead of down and inward. To illustrate things more clearly, I'll use a story from my college days by one of my professors, Peter F. Drucker. For those of you who may have never heard of Peter Drucker, he was the Simon Sinek of his day. He invented the concept MBOs, management by objectives, and is still known as the father of modern management. One day in class, he shared the parable of the Three Stonecutters, and it goes like this. 3 stonecutters, busy on their building site, were asked what they were doing. The first stopped to reply, "I am making a living. I am putting in an honest day's work for an honest day's pay." The second continued hammering while he pridefully said, "I am doing the best job of stone cutting. I am faster. I am better than any other stonecutter in the country." The third stonecutter laid down his tools, looked at the questioner with a sparkle in his eyes, and replied with a great smile, "I am building a cathedral. People who enter this cathedral will find peace, hope, and love." So how do we relate this story to us today? Who do the 3 stonecutters represent? Well, it's simple, really. The first cutter is the person who does what is required. Nothing more, nothing less. He is content with completing his daily expectations to meet his basic needs. His question is, what do you pay? The second cutter is the person who wants recognition for being the best when compared to others. He seeks out opportunities for achievement that will boost his self-esteem. His question is, what can I achieve? The third is asking himself the question that forces him to look up and outward. He is impacting the lives of others and pursuing self-fulfillment. His question is, what can I contribute? Peter Drucker considers this question to be the key to effectiveness. So back to our question at the beginning. What does building medieval architecture have to do with creating high-performing teams? In both cases, motivation determines results. High-performing individuals and high-performing teams all do the following. 1, focus outward instead of inward. 2, maximize impact instead of efforts. And 3, ask, how can I contribute instead of how can I achieve? In the words of Peter Drucker, replace your pursuit of success with the pursuit of contribution. We are out of time, but not out of content. The next video will continue with more insight on how to increase your contribution in part 2 of my learnings from Peter F. Drucker.